Welcome to my channel, hope you're having a lovely day, and today we're going to draw fairies, so I'm very excited. Welcome back for the third week of August Adventures. Before we get into it, just a few side notes. I've had my hair cut and I also don't have my glasses on. Whether or not you care about this, I don't know, but just in case. I realised I film in front of a big window and all of the light was just reflecting off my glasses and refracting. And I just thought it looked really annoying. So I've also had my hair chopped. First time in about a year that I've had my hair cut. So we're all for self-care. So I'm feeling very fresh and rejuvenized. Do you like it? I actually did something to my fringe. I had a roller thing in. So it looks a bit bouffant today, but I'm digging it. This week's prompt was ancient/trinkets. From what I could glean from a lot of the hosts for August Adventures and also other people that have kind of taken part, ancient/trinkets seem to be quite a tricky one. And I actually had the opposite reaction for this one, which is funny. It was all inspired by my husband who went to the woods. We live really close to the New Forest and we regularly go for walks there. And I feel very privileged and lucky that we have beautiful, beautiful forests and woods so close to us. But he made a little fairy door for this tree stump and sent me a picture, and that made inspiration go crazy. I was like, you know what? I have to draw fairies right now, and they are living in that tree stump. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're doing today. We're drawing a little fairy habitat within the tree stump. Let's go. So I actually cheated a little bit for this one, and feel free to judge me, that's absolutely fine. But I took the photo that my husband had taken and I started tracing the shape of the tree trunk because I was like, this is kind of what I want. This is exactly it. But I realized a little bit later on that it felt a little bit too thin, and drawing all of those little trinkets and fairies inside there would be quite tricky. So I actually ended up going back in and expanding that kind of manually without tracing anything, but initially I do trace. But honestly, if you want to trace and it's your own image and it makes art easier for you, go ahead. I'm all for it. It's a really good way to learn too. So with that in mind, I wanted to kind of build up the colours and get the vibe for the forest. And I've been watching a lot of Robin Hood. It's one of my daughter's favourites and I kind of know it off by heart now, especially a bit that my husband and I keep almost running in our heads. We just go, solid gold hubcaps. And then, yeah, we go into that monologue. One thing that I absolutely love about Robin Hood, I mean, I love Robin Hood anyway, but one thing that I really love are the backgrounds. Those juicy, beautiful, gorgeous coloured backgrounds are just, they're like eye candy for me. I love them. And I wanted to take a bit of inspiration for the way that they approach backgrounds. And backgrounds is definitely something that I am trying to improve on every day. And I feel like a lot of the time I make them far too detailed. So this was trying to find a sweet spot for me. And again, continuing to find that style that I keep mentioning, but taking those elements that I've seen in Robin Hood, such as the light background and then slightly darker features, but everything looking still a bit scribbly and hand-drawn, because I do really like that quality and that's something that I want to take across into my work. So I'm super happy with the way that this background turned out, and that's definitely something that I want to explore going forward. Continuing on. So then I wanted the tree to be a cross section, so I started trying to populate that tree stump and tried to think about what would be in each of the rooms, what would the rooms even be, what would those trinkets be within their house. that would just be everyday objects to us, but to them there's something with a different function, or they just look pretty, that kind of thing. And this was one of the parts that I really enjoyed, and you'll see a little bit later on I start to really like flesh it out, and it just gets really exciting for me. I really enjoyed this process. I also then started to populate the rest of the image with the fairies, and I added a little girl, and I wanted this girl to be peeking behind the tree and to have her like stumble on these fairies and have a reaction to it. Initially, I had her looking quite confused and a bit shocked, and I thought that the expression looked really similar to my previous illustration for August Adventures for week 2. If you haven't seen that video, put a link above. So then I started to pivot a bit, but I don't do that until a little bit later. So I kind of leave the girl as she is, but I wasn't quite happy with the expression or the way that she was, but I do change that later on. And then it was a matter of drawing the other fairies in. I really enjoyed kind of giving them different personalities. I wanted them all to be wearing the same green, and that was sort of my only universal rule for the fairies, because I wanted them to almost blend into the background a little bit, and you could see why the girl hadn't necessarily spotted them initially. So that was my only sort of rule that I'd given to myself, but the rest of it was completely open. I wanted to kind of give them different faces, different skin tones, different expressions, and I really loved that little gnome. I thought he was so cute. He's kind of a gnome, but I suppose he's just like an old fairy, but I thought he was really cute. And I ended up also creating this other fairy, the little moustache and very fabulous wings, and kind of doing this and being a little bit camp, I suppose. But I just thought like adding a bit of spice to my fairies might be really fun, and I'm really happy that I did. When I started drawing the little detailed furniture, I was initially going to make them literally like the rest of the image, so have them drawn and rendered and fully coloured in. However, when I started doing that, I realised that everything was kind of pulling focus. So then I made a bit of a stylistic pivot where I just did little line drawings and made them look as sort of hand drawn as possible, and that way you can still see what the objects are, and I do think it makes it stand out more, but it doesn't overtake from the rest of the image. And yeah, I was really excited that I tried that, because I don't usually do that in my illustrations, especially when everything is looking really fully rendered. So I do kind of want to explore mixed media when it comes to my illustration anyway, and I feel like this was like a little dipping my toe in to see whether I like it, and I did. And then I added this really beautiful glow to some of the fairies and within the house, and I use this really great Procreate tool called Bloom, where effectively it kind of creates a light within section that you've been drawing. It's actually really useful for neon lights. I did a drawing last year with neon lights, and when I was looking up how to make it look neon on Procreate, I found this tool and I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So if you need to make anything shiny, use that tool. I wanted there to be lots of fairies on the outside who look like they're going into the house and gathering things around the house, but I also wanted some fairies inside the house. So I added a little fairy that was sleeping in the matchbox, and honestly, I mean, that's just a vibe, isn't it? And another fairy that's almost like come off their shift. They're just walking up the stairs, and they're little mushroom stairs, if you were curious. And I just wanted it to look cozy and inviting. Then once I'd done all of that, if that wasn't enough, I decided to create the rest of the tree stump without the cross section, so you could swipe between the images and see what's inside, because obviously the cross section is not what the girl would see at all, or what we would see. It's more just like an artistic interpretation. So I thought it would be nice to actually show what the tree stump looks like, and to add some little windows as well. So I'm really happy I did that, and I really enjoyed adding those yummy textures to all of the tree barks. Like, oh, trees just And then, my friends, it was done. It was finished, and you know what? I'm actually really happy with this one. I feel like it's really nice that it started from a point of inspiration, like in real life, where Jack had just done something like really cute, and then instantly my brain was like, bing! And you know what? I am actually really delighted with this one. I feel like it's a really good step in the right direction for where I want my style to go. It feels fun and inviting and warm, which is exactly what I want my illustrations to be like. And I'm actually really proud of myself for this one, and that's quite rare when I do any illustration at the moment. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back. I can't quite believe it, but it's the final week for August Adventures next week. There is still time to join us if you'd like to. All the links are below as normal, but it's been really fun just making these videos, and even if there aren't like masses of people watching, it's just nice to have it for prosperity and also to hold myself accountable for actually making art. That's a huge thing at the moment, and it's something that I think I need. Otherwise, I will just rot on my sofa after I've wrestled my daughter to bed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.